Rooftop homeless encampment. A rooftop homeless encampment in South Central LA is terrorizing a doctor's office to the point where the doctor is closing down her practice. She's like, I can't take it anymore. I'm going to retire. We're shutting us all down because of the homeless on the rooftop encampment. Let's get into it. Here we go. Let's watch a little video. The more I follow these homeless stories, the more I am convinced this is all being done on purpose for some kind of massive reset. Does that sound like a conspiracy theory? What's the difference between a right-wing conspiracy theory and the truth? About 6 months. Let's watch the video. Here we go.
We're living here in hell.
The woman who owns this building on the corner of Rugby and Zoe Avenues in Huntington Park says people living on the roof of a next-door structure have been terrorizing her and her staff for years.
They ruined my roof.
Dr. Tahani Solomon says she's out $100,000 from damages caused by the unwanted group.
I have to put new roof. And they did the electricity from the AC. I have to replace all.
Check this out. I don't know if you can see this. Maybe it's clipped, but in the view I'm looking at, you have got a massive amount of razor wire on the top part of this fence. You've got literally razor wire.
See? I have to replace all of them.
What was it? Fire?
It's just a trash fire up there.
Just yesterday, crews
Just a trash fire.
Fire on the rooftop of the parking structure, and this wasn't the first time.
Wow.
In 2023, there was a fire at the building next door. Gabby Rodriguez, who works for the doctor, says the fire department was the one who told them people were living there.
We ended up putting a fence with barbed wire.
Yeah.
They took that down. Then we ended up caging our AC units. They took that down. We ended up caging our water faucet from outside. And they still find a way to get to everything.
Wow.
Rodriguez says with the police telling them there isn't much they can do and calls to the city left unreturned, the encampment has all but solidified Dr. Solomon's future.
No protection for me or my patient or my employee or my tenant. That's why I'm going to retire, because of this. I lost everything.
It's a failed government. So where is Huntington Park? It is it's in South Central LA, kind of east, South Central LA. It is south and east of Skid Row. It's in LA. It's in a rough area of LA with some mixed use. We've got a parking garage next door. Homeless people just go up there. They get access to the top. They just have their way with the building. And the city's like, oh, what do we do? What do we do? That's why I continually say, unless you take a hard look, and by hard look, I mean you drop the hammer on the homeless population, jail, treatment, mental institution. Take your pick. Which one or which combo of those would you like? Unless you start doing that, you can't just you can't just allow urban campers to go wherever the F they want, because this is literally the end result. City officials know this. That's why I'm more and more inclined to think that this is in these big blue liberal cities. This is on purpose. This is on purpose. LA just approved their $9 billion budget. And within that budget, they cut money to fire services. They cut money to the police department. And yet they kept the $7,000 per month per individual for homeless people. You're homeless, you get $7,000. And that's housing, services, room, board, all in. $7,000 a month. And yet hardworking citizens are having just a tough time keeping a roof over their head. They're the ones paying taxes. They're actually paying into the system. And these nut jobs on drugs are just allowed to live whatever life they want. Tell me this isn't on purpose somehow. Tell me there isn't an end goal of this. What is it? Are we just trying to overthrow capitalism here? Because it's working. Doctors like, yeah, I own this building. And that is where ownership in a market like this, you're like, well, if I was leasing, I would just lease. When my lease is up, I get the F out of here and move on. That's what I would do. Doctor in the South Central region of LA County is calling it quits after years of battling denizens of a rooftop homeless encampment that have continuously terrorized her and her employees, costing the general practitioner tens of thousands of dollars in the process. Said they wrecked the roof. Well, that looked like it was a hot tar roof, right? Some kind of mop down layer, whatever. You start a fire on that, guess what's going to happen? That membrane is not going to do well. It's just not going to do well. You're going to put a hole in it. You're going to go through it. Yeah, terrible, terrible. Dr. Tahani Solomon owns the building she runs her practice out of in the corner of Rugby and Zoe Avenues in Huntington Park. This is not Huntington Beach. Let's mind you that, because I think there's some confusion there. Huntington Beach has become very red. It has gone down the red road. Hey, understandable, because this is the blue road here. And how is that working out for Dr. Tahani Solomon? I'm out. I got to go. We got to close this bad boy down. A multi-level parking garage next door to her practice has reportedly been a hub for unhoused people. Urban campers, homeless people, unhoused people. If they just had a house, they'd be fine. That is the biggest misnomer of all time. If we could just get them more housing. Now, these people are lunatics, hence setting fire, hence taking down, a cage around an AC unit so you can get in there and tear it apart, get that good copper wiring out for a few bucks so you can get your pit of fetty. They took down fence around the top that had razor wire on it. These people don't care. What does the city do? We'll look into it. Sorry it made the media, but we don't really care. Look into it. Let's see how your problem's doing. So, access to her roof, camp out, steal electricity, and scrap metal from her air conditioning units and start fires. And you know what? It's not when wiring is in an air conditioning unit servicing a building on a rooftop. I've literally got a AC unit just right about over there, and the AC unit is right up there. I know because when they come to work on it in the summer, that brief, 6-week window when we might have temperatures over 70 degrees and we need air conditioning, you can hear the dudes up there. But when wiring is in an AC unit or a heat pump or whatever it is, it's not scrap metal. It's called AC unit. When you tear that apart, super expensive. So she spent more than $100,000 on repairs and deterrents, such as barbed wire and a fence that the homeless simply tear down. Do you imagine having a rooftop with barbed wire around it? I mean, talk about some real escape from New York. Talk about some Mad Max in Los Angeles. But it sounds like this is just a regular occurrence. Oh yeah, I'm trying to keep the homeless out, and we have barbed wire, and they just clip it. They just come through it. Clip it and tear it down. We are living in hell, Solomon said. That is pretty clear. That's a pretty, I would say, accurate description. You've got these whacked out nut jobs on drugs that the media continues to call unhoused. They're urban campers. And you're like, nah, they're whack jobs on drugs, just running around, living their best lives on the taxpayer's dollar. So if you're okay with that, keep voting blue. I'm sure it'll get better. They ruined my roof. I have to put in a new roof, and that is not cheap. Commercial building, and electricity from the air conditioning, I have to replace all of them. Let's take a look at some of these pictures. These are wild. So there's the fire. Terrible, terrible. So much of what the Los Angeles Fire Department does is respond to homeless encampment fires because they love their fire. Homeless love a good blaze. They love a good arson. They love to light stuff on fire. That's just their thing. Get some fetty in your system, get a little meth in your system, and then go ham with the blowtorch, and we'll just see what happens. What could go wrong? Here's a wire. Get my yellow pointer guy going here. Yeah, here's a wire coming off of that heating unit, AC unit, whatever it is. And they're jacking that wire to the adjoining building so that these people are ingenious. I have seen this on large scale encampments in Seattle. I have seen public officials wander around and just look at the wiring and go, there's not much we can do. It's crazy. It's crazy. You imagine this happening in a big Republican city? No. Doesn't happen. They don't allow to this scale to happen. They've got homelessness because you got homelessness everywhere. There's always going to be a handful of people that fall through that crack, right? For whatever reason, get addicted, mentally ill, whatever. But to allow them to take such control as this doesn't happen in big blue cities. You just don't read the stories. They're not there. It's not happening. Okay, what do we got here? We got some kind of tarp deal. Is that a tent? Hard to tell. Don't really care. There is the ripped apart unit, the AC or whatever it is unit on the roof. Okay, that looks nice. That's looking real good. That's on May 4th. All right, here is, geez, look at the fencing with, they have barbed wire, rolled barbed wire. Barbed wire doesn't keep these vermin out. It kind of tells you everything, doesn't it? Yeah. And what's the city do? We'll look into it. There's that fire. And this is literally some real Mad Max stuff. Don't worry about it. It'll be okay. Just let the homeless do their thing. Just if we could just get them some more housing. And you're left with like, what? Oh, how does this make any sense at all? What is wrong with you? Get these people into treatment is housing. Mental institution is housing. Detox is housing. But no, we're not going that direction. On Tuesday, crews with the LA Fire Department extinguished a blaze on the rooftop of the parking structure, and it's not the first time. Gabby Rodriguez, who works for Dr. Solomon, said there was another fire in the same spot in 2023. You got a history of this. You've got homeless people setting fires to commercial structures. And this happens all the time. You read these stories in Seattle, you read them in Tacoma, locally here, you read them in San Fran, anywhere you got big Oakland. Oakland is rife with this kind of stuff. It was firefighters who told the doctor and her staff that homeless people were living on top of the parking garage. Now, what if you and I just went out, got a real nice tent from REI, and we just started camping somewhere. Just camping somewhere. Just going to set up on top of this parking garage rooftop. You know what would happen? We'd be thrown out. Are you guys homeless? No, we're just camping here. Oh, you can't camp here. But they do, pointing to the homeless people. Yeah, well, we can't really do anything about that. But you're telling me that I got to go? You're telling me I got to go? Yeah, can't have you camping here. That's literally what would happen. That's the craziness of the situation, right? We ended up putting a fence up with barbed wire. They took that down. Huntington Park police have told the doctor and her staff that there's not much they can do about the problem because they're not allowed to arrest these people. When these people commit crimes, it's like, no, we didn't really see anything here. Just go ahead and live your best life. Just urban camp. Yep. We see you taking power. Yep. We see you destroyed the unit there. No vandalism charges for you. Nope. No trespassing charges for you. You're unhoused. And that the office's calls to the city for help have gone unreturned because there's 1,000,001 people calling. Yo, what about the homeless people living? Nothing's happening about that, is it? Now, here in Seattle, our mayor, Bruce Harrell, doesn't like Jesus, doesn't like God, doesn't like the religious people, but he has supported the police, kind of. We've had all this ruckus with, Antifa going after, literally attacking church groups. Our mayor has done a decent job at least getting the homeless out of our downtown core because he kind of understands. But a lot of these other big blue city mayors, and our mayor, Bruce Harrell, is not without fault. The way he handled the whole Antifa versus Christian thing was just absolutely absurd, blaming the Christians for instigating an episode of violence. And I've got multiple podcasts on that on this channel. But, Los Angeles, you've got 75,000 homeless people. It's way out of control. You can't get that genie back in the bottle. You just can't. It's not a thing. You've allowed it to happen. So now you've literally got Mad Max situations happening, and you've got destabilization of not only society, but the economy specifically, because you've got businesses like this that are forced to close down. Just close her down. Dr. Solomon, frustrated and angry about the lack of support for her business staff and patients, says that she has had enough. Enough is enough. No protection for my employees, for my patients, or my tenants, she told KTLA. That's why I'm going to retire. Because of this, I lost everything. Well, she probably hasn't lost everything, but I get it. Her business, the building, she's going to have to sell the building at, who knows? She's probably owned it for a long time. And I'm just making stuff up here. She hasn't lost everything, but it probably feels like she has lost everything. And from the standpoint of her business and where she wants to run her business, she's lost everything from that perspective. You bet. I mean, horrible. And city officials, we're aware. We can see that there's been a couple of fires here, but those urban campers, we just got to let them do their thing because, it's what we're doing. It's just what we're doing here in Huntington Park. KTLA reached out to Huntington Park city officials who said they would investigate the situation. Yeah, give us a little bit more information. How about you read the effing news? Because for me, I'm able to do that, look at some pictures. But here's the bottom line. What are city officials really going to do about this? What are city officials going to do about this? And that's where so many of these big blue liberal cities are hosed. It's like with the Democrat Party. You've got this affiliation with the whole LGBTQ plus thing, right? Look at how well that's working in Seattle. You can see all my footage. I went to the Rattle in Seattle. Basically just had Antifa whining and complaining and getting arrested on the sidewalks because they're whining and complaining. And then they, go to hit somebody and they get arrested. 31 of them arrested in 1 week. Lunatics. These lunatics are far left, and that's a reflection on the Democrat Party. These kind of policies here where cities don't do anything for their constituents, for businesses trying to run legit operation, for a doctor of all things, trying to help people not die, help them with their medical conditions, help them with whatever they need help with. And yet the city can't protect a business like that. Not much we can do. Homeless are just everywhere. And it's because they're so overrun and they don't have the political will to put these lunatics in jail, arrest them, whatever, put them in treatment, whether it's psychiatric care or some kind of treatment, inpatient treatment where they dry them out, get them squared away and try and get them back on their feet. They're not doing that. They're just like, you know what? Homeless encampment on the rooftop. I know it was siege style when they clipped the razor wire and they came over and they're still stealing your stuff. But, we want to share the wealth around. You're a wealthy doctor, so we're not going to arrest them because big blue liberal cities, especially LA, especially California, have protected this population. And now you've got podcaster Newsom screaming at these individual cities, you guys need to figure this out. You guys need to sweep these homeless encampments, knowing damn well all you're doing is playing whack-a-mole. You're just playing whack-a-mole. You sweep them from here, they move 2 blocks over. You sweep them from here, they move another 2 blocks over. That's what happens. We've seen it time and time and time again. So it doesn't matter how many times you sweep them, because if you're not getting at the root cause, which is these people need to be in mental institutions, or they need to be sobered up somewhere, or they need to be in jail for breaking the law. But we're not doing that. So until we get to that spot, just keep expecting this stuff to go sideways. And I think it's such a terrible look, especially for somebody coming out of California like Gavin Newsom, podcaster Newsom. He is absolutely scrambling to cover his backside, which has massive exposure from the standpoint of, hey, look at all the homeless encampments in California. Hey, look at the cost of anything in California. Hey, look at the cost of housing. How about all those refineries closing down? What about the crime? What about the homelessness? It's one of many issues that Gavin Newsom is trying to, put up some defenses, be able to talk his way out of why this is his fault. Reading an article the other day on how the Republican Party in California is licking their chops at the possibility Kamala Harris will run for governor. They are licking their chops because she's 0 for 2 running for president, right? 0 for 2. And they feel like she is a real liability in running for office in governorship of California. And they feel like they might have a real shot there. I don't disagree with them. All this policy that's going on, all these affiliations, Democrats love homelessness. Democrats love Antifa. Democrats love LGBTQ plus, all that stuff. And yet the general population is kind of sitting back going, we don't love homelessness. We don't love Antifa defending LGBTQ plus. We don't love the whole trans thing. That's not really our deal. But our politicians are absolutely covering for them. Why again are we voting Democrat? Those 20 million people that came into the country illegally that are going to, some are going to find their way into the country through legal means. They're, for the most part, Catholic. They don't hate Jesus. They don't hate God. The Democrat Party, represented by the far left, Antifa, in Seattle, they do not have kind words for religion in general. So all those folks that came into the country illegally that Sleepy Joe was thinking, maybe they'll vote for us. Long term, I don't think that's happening. So what can Republicans do? All you got to do is sit on your hands and let this kind of go and just point it out every now and then. And that's what I'm doing. Podcasts for days, weeks, months, years. Now I'm adding in decades. You got podcasts for decades because this stuff isn't going to get fixed anytime soon. So make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit the like button for this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for being here. Bye for now.